All right, we'll do it live. Come into the room, come into the room. Come into the room, come into the room. Come into the room, come into the room. Come in with the mop, leave with the broom. I fuck with Skype, don't fuck with Zoom. Come into the room, come into the room. Okay. All right, I'm going to improve those bars one day. To what? I don't know. And you guys don't deserve much better because, I mean, that's pretty much around the bars that I'm seeing lately. All right, it's really awesome. You know. So, okay. Welcome. Good morning. Welcome back to another DanieSteel podcast on the DanieSteel channel, home of the Purple Print. Okay, which is a series of videos based on my experience and education in the art of people and psychology, etc. Right? That are here to guide you in making the right choices and the kind of partner that you want. Right? And essentially, a series of videos that can really help you when it comes to how to vet. And I don't see a lot of people giving that type of information, right? It's a lot of, you need to vet better. You need to vet better. I think I'm a decent vet. And in fact, if there was a TV show called like The Vetter, right? I would be a top vetter. Put it that way. Okay, like I vet decently well. I'm able to read people very well. It's a lifelong learning experience. So welcome, come into the room. Let's talk about the subject at hand. And today we're going to talk about the Black adopted Costco girl who is allegedly being treated like a slave and or abused by her white adopted family. Okay. And I saw this video on Paris Milan's channel. And if you guys know anything about me, you know that I grew up in the foster care system and I take these sorts of matters very seriously. Kids come first on my channel. Kids come first. I'm always thinking about what's best for women because what's best for the kids, you know, and if you don't have kids and, you know, that's fine. You know, I don't have kids either, but I still care about the kids, right? And it's so important to put them first. Okay. So let's listen to a little bit of this story. This is from, again, Paris Milan broke this story about a Black girl, a Black, I don't know if she's African, Haitian, and don't tell me Africa is a continent because I said African. Everybody knows that. Okay, relax. But I don't think it's known exactly where she's from or much anything about this young girl who looks to be in her early teens, right? So let's listen to some of the video of what the woman who broke this story has to say. And the woman's name is Angelica Mendez, okay? And this happened in Palm Desert, California, okay? So this is the woman, Angelica Mendez, speaking on what she knows or what she says happened, okay?
Asking her more questions. I'm like, are you okay? I was like, are you okay, baby? I was like, are you hungry? And she tells me, she shakes her head no, but starts crying more. I ask her 3 times. She says the same answer, which is no. The 4th time, she says yes. She says yes. She looks up. She looks back down so quick. And the father kicked her under the table. She starts to cry even more. He tells the family, let's get up and let's get going.
Mendez then called 911 and followed the family to their cars as she recorded.
Okay, what I didn't hear is how she was able to have a conversation with this young girl by herself, right? And let me be clear. Again, I'm very transparent with y'all. A lot of people that go through the foster care system won't tell other people they went through it because of the stigmas associated with foster kids, which, as you guys can see from being on my channel, are completely false and bogus and, you know, done to fit this narrative that justifies the abuse that the American government allows to happen to foster and adopted kids. I have released a series of videos on YouTube about my experiences in the foster care system. And because of those videos that I have shared with y'all for several years now, I have gotten a lot of people reaching out to me about their experiences in the foster care system here in America, and also of their experiences being adopted by white families. Okay. I haven't had anyone share their experience with me of them being adopted by non-white families. And the reason they're sharing their experiences being adopted by white families, because a lot of times there's a huge disconnect. And we see this on TikTok, right? On TikTok, you have biracial kids outing their racist families, and the lack of care and concern that their parents put into, making sure that they would be okay on this earth. We have white kids outing their racist family members as well. Props to these kids. I say it all the time. Props to the Gen Zers who are just putting on blast a generation, which is, primarily Gen X. Sorry, millennials, we good. Millennials, we good. We doing our own thing. Okay, Gen X, their parents are usually Gen X, and or, we call them geriatric millennials. Okay. And they're putting the hypocrisy that these people have, lived with on blast and gotten away with for decades on blast. So props to the Gen Zers for doing that. I have nothing but respect to them for that, because silence kills. That's what people say. Silence kills. Sitting there with something that happened to you, eating away at you, tearing you down, breaking you apart. And you can't say anything because there's this notion that you're never supposed to say anything about the bad things that happen to you. Hi, Sun Goddess Ari. What's up? Welcome. Okay, so a lot of people stay quiet about their experiences being abused in the foster care system and in the adoptive system. And, I'll be honest, I've seen people care more about dogs in general than they care about kids who don't have an advocate. I've seen more of human concern and compassion for dogs than I've seen for the foster kids and adoptive kids in America, and the kids who were failed by their birth parents, their birth families, had no control over being put up for adoption and or put into the foster care system. They had no control over that. If your parent is found to be negligible and none of your other family members can help their family member out and take care of you, you will be placed in the American foster care system and or put up for adoption. I think a lot of times when we hear adoption stories, we think of people who are adopting people that look like them. And then when they're 18, right, they're like, whoa, we got something to tell you, right? And they're like, you're adopted, right? And I think that's a lot of people's thoughts of being adopted, right? And or maybe the kid never finds out, and or maybe the parents shared with them that they were adopted when they were younger in a caring, compassionate way. But that's not the universal experience of people who are adopted and or in the foster care system. And I've definitely noticed how people just really don't want to hear about the negatives of these institutions. And there's this sort of attitude of, you should just be grateful. What does a kid who has no control over what adults do have to be grateful for? All kids are to be provided for. All kids are to be provided for and taken care of. Period. Period. And what kind of world do we live in where we understand that about cats and dogs and farm animals? But you don't understand that when it comes to children. Hello, Marcus. Hi, good morning. Welcome. Come to the room, come into the room. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I played the video of what this woman, Angelica Mendez, had to say about her interaction with this young Black girl who we don't know much about. We don't know hardly any real details about this still. We don't know how old this young girl is. She looks to me to be, like I said, in her early teens. 14, maybe, at the oldest. And what we see in the video is we see a young girl that looks distraught. That's what we can see. We can see from this video that this young girl looks distraught. She looks very sad. You can't determine from the video if she's hungry, but you can determine from watching the video that there's no food in front of her, right? There's a bunch of food on the table, but there was no food in front of her. And she looked sad and miserable. She looked upset. She looked despondent. Maybe even traumatized. And that alone, for me, is enough. That alone, for me, is enough to say, what in the hell is goings on here? What in the hell is goings on here? Hello, Melanie Sunshine. Welcome. Beautiful. Just like sunshine. She has a smile like sunshine. I love that. Okay, so we don't know what's going on here. We don't want to jump to conclusions. We don't want to make claims that aren't true. We can only go by what we see. I'm going to go by what I see. I'm not really interested in what people tell me is happening based on what I see, because people love to do that. They'll be like, well, you saw it, but let me explain it. No. I'm going to go on based on what I see. And what I see is a young girl at a table full of people, and she's the only one that doesn't have food in front of her and looks very sad and or traumatized. What is going on there? That wouldn't be correct if the whole family was Black. If everyone in the family was of the same race, that wouldn't be correct. It wouldn't be right. And it's not right in this situation either. The family alleges that she wasn't eating because she was sick. I've taken care of children my entire life. I work with kids. I've taken care of kids my entire life. There are very few illnesses that a kid will be going through where they can be outside around everybody else, but they can't eat. All right? So that doesn't make sense. That doesn't add up. She's outside with and around everyone else. She's made to be outside and sit up. Usually when you're sick, you want to stay home. Why couldn't one of the parents stay home with her? Because she was sick. But no, she's fine enough to come outside and have to tag along and watch everyone else eat. But she's too sick to eat? I don't believe that. So I don't know what's going on there, but it looks like some mind games. And again, I'm going to go back to the fact that I've been talking about foster care and adopted children issues for several years now, okay? Probably almost a decade, including over a decade, if you include the talks that I've had and the lessons that I've given people about this outside of YouTube, okay? So this is something I do in real life. I educate people about the foster care system. And I'm telling you, there is no sickness that would allow a child to be outside and have to tag along and go along to Costco and all the family errands, but you can't feed them something. Good morning, Kareem. Beautiful. Why everybody on my channel beautiful? I know why. Just because it's a beautiful group of people. I swear to God, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Everyone I've seen on this channel is absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I don't like that. That don't add up. Because y'all could have gave her some chicken noodle soup. Chicken noodle soup? There's not a kid out there that doesn't want to have some chicken noodle soup when they don't feel good. So I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe that there's some type of wrong doing going on here. That's abusive to not let her eat when all the other children are eating. And I feel like this looks to be a situation where this family is trying to set a clear example that you're different. The othering of Black and POC foster and adoptive children. The othering. It should be illegal. But see, they don't make sure that these families aren't doing these types of things to these kids after the kids are placed in these homes. They wipe their hands like they're Pontius Pilate. Anybody know Pontius Pilate? Try to wash his hands from Jesus. That's what I'm talking about. Black people want to come over here. And the Bible said, but you can't tell me nothing about the Bible, baby. I studied it for years. I studied the Bible my entire childhood, baby. They want to wash their hands like they Pontius Pilate. All right? And say the child is no longer ours. That is the American government's primary goal when it comes to children in the foster care and adoptive systems. They want to make sure that they are put into a family and ultimately adopted, so they're no longer in foster care and they're no longer the government's problem. So they're eager to say these are good families and everyone's great. They're eager to do that. What they're not eager to do is investigations into abuse. That's something they're not eager to do. So they're going to do what they want to do. Understand that. They're not going to do what's right. And they haven't done right by the majority of foster kids and adoptive kids in this country for a very long time. Maybe not at all, to be honest. Because you can't excuse abuse. If there's abuse going on at any level, the system is broken. The system is broken. And I often hear from the most privileged peoples, right? This idea that it's okay to sacrifice some lives if some people were helped. And if it's your loved one's life, it's not okay. But it's okay if it's someone else's, right? And it's okay if it's a Black person's, right? It's unacceptable. The lives that have been ruined from the trauma of the American foster care system and from being adopted into what they later found out to be racist families. And again, you can go on TikTok. There are a lot of videos out there like that. Look, I'm not going to spend all day putting it together. You can go and find this stuff very easy. It's out there where these kids are telling you that they're in families that are racist. And dealing with the microaggressions, right? Because again, there's this, well, it's not overt racism. Nothing's being done to you. Nothing's happening to you. This is being said by people who don't want to wear masks. They don't want to wear a mask for 5 minutes to go in and out of a store. But they would have you suffer and not voice what's happening to you. Hypocrites. The system is broken. I spoke personally with an Asian man who was adopted by white people in America. Okay? And he told me that they gave him a lot of microaggressions. And that increased and it built up to overt racism to the point where they are estranged and he hasn't spoken to them in years. Because they basically said, like, this is a mistake and we don't want you here. They were abusive to this young man. And he was told, this is your family. These are the people that love you. Do you know how damaging it is to be told? People try to do that with me when I was growing up with these foster workers. That's what I call them. I don't call them foster mothers because they didn't know how to be a mother. They didn't know how to be a mother. No, foster workers. Okay? Because everybody blames the kid, but nobody blames how these kids are being raised. Right? The othering. I've told you guys before on this channel, people are not as good as they pretend to be. When I meet someone and they're like, I think most people are good people. I'm like, good for you. Slow, medium clap. Good for you. If you want to buy into that, you go right ahead. Because I have met way too many people for you to sit here and tell me that most people are good people. Absolutely, Melanie Sunshine. They make it so difficult for good people to adopt. So that what you get a lot of times is people who are desperate for custody of a child, not to raise a child and to love a child, for custody of a child. so that they have someone that they have power over and control. It goes on all throughout the world, right? Human trafficking. People are getting less fortunate people into their homes under the premise and guise of working there for money or trying to help them out. And then they make them stay there and work as indentured servants and outright enslaving them, right? This is happening today in America. This happens. Look it up. People love to be like, oh, where? Show me proof. I'm bringing it to your attention. You don't believe me? Look it up. Because I wouldn't tell you if it wasn't out there. Look it up. Another young Black woman told me of her parents, her white adoptive parents, who she said, you know, we don't have a relationship. We haven't had a relationship for years because they basically told me like they made a mistake and they didn't want me. I've had so many people tell me these stories over and over and over and over again. It can't be ignored anymore. We have to bring attention to what's going on here. And what's going on when that kind of stuff happens is a sense of entitlement. People want to play white savior. It happened to me growing up my whole life. People wanted to play white savior until it wasn't fun anymore. Because that's inevitably what happens. And it's the kids that pay the price. I lived with, before I went to college, right? You graduate from high school. I was just going to be homeless. I was like, fuck it. I'm done. I've graduated from high school. I'll figure it out from here. Like, I don't have anywhere to go, you know, I'll figure it out. But I'm not staying with these abusive foster mothers anymore. And at that before I went into this home with this white woman, all my foster mothers have been Black, and they'd all been abusive, emotionally, physically, mentally, financially abusive. Okay. So look, I don't have any agendas here. I'm pointing out what's going on with these children. If you follow me, because people love to come to the video and be like, that's not true. My sister's doing this. I don't give up about you or your sister. Just to be honest, I care about these kids. And everything needs to be exposed. Anyways, lived with a bunch of abusive Black foster mothers. And then I was going to like hit the streets. And this white woman found out, this older white woman, right, who loved to drink wine. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, I don't understand where I've lived and how I've lived and what I've gone through and what I've seen and the different type of people I've seen. I went from living in the hood, in foster homes in the hood most of my life, to living in this white woman's condo, right? And I'm 18, okay? And I said, I will take to the streets. Look, foster care ain't much better. So it is what it is. I'll figure it out. And this woman insisted. Adults were around me insisting, and basically not leaving me alone to allow me to do what I wanted to do, which was figure life out on my own at that point. So I go into this woman's, her big ass condo and stuff, and she drank a lot of wine. And like the first night that I was there, it was like 9 p.m. and she just turned the TV off and she was like, bedtime. I was like, bedtime? Who are you talking to? I'm 18 years old. I'm not going to bed at 9 because you say. So she'd be like, okay, well, if you're not going to go to bed, but I'm turning the TV off. And I was like, this is a very bizarre behavior. You never told me that you would behave this way. I mean, you don't understand how an 18-year-old wants to behave. Like, are you kidding me? And I'm a very respectful young lady. But this is ridiculous. And she would do things like that to be controlling. You understand? Because she couldn't have kids of her own. To be controlling. To be abusive. Because as she would later go on and on about when she was drunk, her husbands had abused her. Right? And I was just like, this is sick that you opened your home up to people and you're mentally incompetent and emotionally abusive. This is sick. And I hope she's rotting in hell today. I don't give a damn. I hope she's rotting in hell where she belongs. All right? She was so eager to get me to be there, right? And then it was like, oh, can you get your stuff out? Can you get your stuff out? And I've had multiple people do this to me. They'd be like, can you stay with me? Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. You know, I'm like, I don't have any place to go. I'm about to go on my own. No, stay with me, stay with me. Okay. And then when I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to leave because you wanted me to stay with you so you could control me in some bizarre way. And like, I just want to kind of be left alone so I can go to work, do my thing, you know, very respectful. I keep spaces clean. I don't eat nobody's food. I don't bother people. Like, it was never enough, right? There was always this like, you better be grateful that I'm not living with that. That's why I'm always amazed at people being like, my parents, I can live with them forever. I'm like, wow, you must have amazing parents. Because most people I know, parents are going to hold that ish over their heads 24/7. And you would put up with that, then get your own place. Speaks volumes. Speaks volumes. Absolutely. Let me tell you something. There is a children shortage in America. Okay? America is the worst is the worst first world country to give birth in at a hospital because they know and care nothing about the birthing experience. They don't have doulas available. They don't have midwives available, which most other first world countries have, because that's what a woman and the baby need. It's a money grab, baby. These hospitals are a money grab. So let me tell you what's happening in the foster care system. I've seen it firsthand. Again, you're not talking to somebody like a lot of people on here that jump on here and talk about topics they know nothing of. I spent my life in this system and then worked for it. There is a children's shortage, and you're not going to be able to get the babies anymore. The babies are going to all these wealthy elites who have money to get the babies. Okay? They don't even have, these babies don't stay in the foster care system for long anymore because they claim that they want to put them with families, but if the parents are incompetent, the likelihood that they have competent family members is pretty low. They're taking these kids and putting them with elite people, with privileged people with money who can't have their own children. And however you can have your own children is fine. I would never judge anyone about that at all. That's not my point in saying that. My point in saying it is because they cannot have their own children, they're desperate to have a baby. So the babies go first. And you can look at the websites in a lot of different states. They will say, we don't have any babies that you can adopt or foster, but we have teenagers and groups of kids, 3 or more siblings, and or kids with mental and or physical disabilities that require an immense amount of attention, medication around the clock, nurses, etc. And when I was growing up, I was in a group of kids, right? I wasn't an only kid. I wasn't a baby, and I was in this system. It's gotten even worse, is what I'm telling you, in terms of people being happy to take somebody's baby, and they don't look into the culture that baby's coming from. They don't care about keeping that baby connected with where they came from. They're not gonna be like Angelina Jolie and buy their kids, estates where they come from so they can always go back and chill. They don't have it like that. Nor should, or necessarily should they. But you gotta do something. And there's a lot of countries. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a handful of countries, right? Where if you adopt a child from that country, you have to sign a piece of paper saying that you will honor their cultural, historical heritage and traditions. You have to sign. That's part of the paperwork, the legal paperwork, when you adopt children from certain countries that care about the children that they are letting Americans adopt, that care about their heritage and their culture. They're not just handing these kids off. They want them to have a good home, but they understand that everyone has to have a pride in themselves, okay? And we talk about self-esteem, but you know what we don't talk about? Racial esteem. And look it up. It's a real thing. And it's widely known that Black people have the lowest racial esteem of any group of people. And it's a no wonder why, because anti-Blackness is global, right? They really aren't, guys. I'm so sorry. So sorry. But, people have shown their ass time and time again. They've shown their ass time and time again. When people are faulty and people are suspicious and people, you know what I'm saying? Like, believe them the first time. I promise you, believe them the first time and don't waste your time. That's some advice I want to give you from Granny Danie to y'all. It's a lot of aunties on here. I'm Granny Danie, okay? I've surpassed the aunties. And I don't care how old the aunties are. The aunties can take advice from moi, Granny Danie. That's how much wisdom I've had in this game, baby. I promise you. I came at stuff with an open heart most of my life. And I was trampled on because of it. It's when you start to peep game, and there's nothing wrong with peeping game. I'm still, I stopped in the middle of the street when I was jogging this morning because there was a puppy that was just like so wanted to be close to me, right? And its owner was like trying to like keep moving and stuff. But it was a puppy, and it was like it wanted to be close to me, and I was like, wow. The reality that even puppies become even dogs, right, become less friendly as they get older, because that realization that not everybody is your friend and not everybody is out for your good. One of the things I love about Paris Milan is that she always brings issues like this to the table. Leah Gordon is another YouTuber that I love that always brings issues like this to the table, and they'll bring up, the numbers that you can call and the petitions that you can sign. These young women, they really care. They really care. But I want you guys to be mindful of women whose hearts are too hardened to care anymore. And you have to understand that about people. I credit my husband immensely for me not being like one of those types of women. Immensely. Because he just refused to let me, he refuses to this day to let me believe the lies that I was told. And a lot of people believe the lies that they were told. And because they did, they want everyone else to believe it too. I was brainwashed. I was indoctrinated. I was duped. And now I want to dupe the rest of you. You have to watch out for that. Anyways, back to this story, right? So let's go back to the woman, Angelica Mendez, okay? When I was listening to the footage of Angelica Mendez, I noticed that she stopped talking about the girl so much and started focusing a lot on what she was going through, right? Exactly. I've had dozens of adopted and or foster kids tell me these things, guys. Dozens. I've had dozens at this point. I can't count the stories. The abuse that is ignored. Do y'all care about kids or not? Or is it only certain kids? I'm telling you, these social workers, I've met a few that are good, but they fail these kids too. I told you guys on my last live about this abusive social worker that I had that was yelling at me, when he should have been fucking congratulating me for not becoming a statistic the way they try to set everybody up to be with this ratty ass system. He should have been thanking me for not making them look like clowns, because every kid that goes through this system ends up failing and becoming a statistic to these oppressive structures put into place. See, a lot of people don't understand that the majority of people in prison, they came out of the foster care system. A large percentage of the people in prison at some point in their lives went through the foster care system, in a group home, in foster care, adoption, something. Now that's one hell of a coincidence. And last time I checked, there's no such thing as coincidence. But that's one hell of a coincidence. What is going on in these homes that such a large percentage of the prison population is filled with people who came from these homes? And I'm telling y'all what's going on. An immense amount of abuse and neglect. These children are being failed. It's not enough eyes on them. Now, while I appreciate people like Angelica for bringing attention to this, because so many people turn a blind eye, we also have to be cognizant of where the message is coming from. We have to be. Is this a woman who has advocated for foster children before, or has advocated for children before, and that's why she cares about this? What made this woman talk about this on social media? Was it concern for the children, for the young girl? Or is it like so many people, she just wants attention? We can see that the young girl is upset, but we can't see the bruises and scars that she alleges that she saw on this young girl. We can't see that from the video. Now, this young girl is dark-skinned like myself. We're around the same color. And based on experience of being Black my entire life and living around other Black people of my skin color and darker, it takes a great amount of abuse for there to be bruises left on our body. We don't bruise visibly as easy as non-Black people, okay? So if she saw bruises on her, right? I mean, this would be visible physical evidence that could not be ignored. Why didn't she take a picture? She has her camera. She's having a conversation with this girl that goes on and on, enough for the girl to tell her, hey, I'm being abused. This is happening. This is happening. This is happening. She's asking her questions. Why didn't you take pictures of the abuse? It would be that simple. Why didn't you record the conversation you had with the girl? It would be that simple. Anybody that knows or cares about this stuff knows that you have to get this this information from the source, not hearsay. So that makes me question the woman that's posting this, because it's like, why did you choose to handle it in this way, where now there can't be, any real sort of validity to what's being said, because it's hearsay. Exactly. My family is the same way. We would love to, help children and pay it forward. But I'm not going to just be doing what the government tells me. I'll find another way to help kids. And that's one of the reasons I do this and go so hard at this, because I'm not going to be a victim to this government again. They did it to me once already when I was a kid. I won't allow it, because they hurt everyone to get what they want. Oh, awesome, Khaleesi. I'll try to make sure that I subscribe to you so I can watch your video. Awesome. The more people that just bring attention and awareness to these types of things that are happening. You know what I'm saying? When I first started talking about foster care, nobody even knew what it was. They didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to hear about it. Now I feel like we're at a place where there's being more awareness drawn to it. But let's keep going. And nobody's trying to make allegations that aren't true. But we got to draw awareness to a clear pattern of anti-Blackness in the foster care and adoptive systems in America. It's clear. Exactly. Right, exactly. So, and how can we prove that, right? And the thing is, of course, you look at this family and they look like, the Sound of Music. What are they? The Clumps, the Trumps, right? They have that American look. They have the complexion for protection, right? America cares greatly about, protecting that privilege, right? And having people understand that they can still be privileged, right? And so it doesn't surprise me that the investigation into this was less than a day. And I'm sure all they did was ask them. They probably didn't even interview the little girl. They probably just asked the parents. They don't want to know the truth because that doesn't matter to them. Yeah, absolutely. I've told you guys before the story of me working with a woman who adopted African children. Okay. I won't get into too much specifics about it to keep it, more anonymous. But it was a white woman had adopted African children, and I'm doing the little girl's hair, and I'm not paid to do this, right? But they don't care about Black labor, like my labor of doing this girl's hair. I wasn't paid for it at all, but I just could no longer be there and look at this girl's hair just get worse and worse, and no one was doing anything about it. And the little girl said to me, because her older brother had his hair had locked because they didn't do anything to his hair. So his hair had locked. Okay, had locked up. And she said, I don't want locks, right? I don't want locks like my brother. That's what she said to me. So I sat down, I started doing this girl's hair. And they had a POC like cleaner, their house cleaner. Their house cleaner had done her braids before, and they were literally like 2 strands of hair. And she 3-strand twists, like it'd be like 6 strands of hair. The braids were so tiny. To me, it was sick. I undid all of this girl's hair, and sand starts falling out of her hair. And I'm like, what's going on here? And I was like, did you just go to the beach? And she was like, yeah, last week. I'm like, last week? She's had sand in her hair this entire time. And I want one of these trolls, these women content creator trolls who pretend to be black men because they got nothing better to do, to come on my channel now and try to start some stuff. So why are you being loud with your white husband so early in the morning in the beautiful suburbs? I've never seen a black man talk like that. I've never seen it. So focused on my husband and my life. I've never seen that. One of these trolls said, why don't you make your thumbnails better? Maybe more people would watch. What kind of black man would say that? What kind of Dusty would say that? Make your thumbnails better, maybe people will watch. I don't have to do gimmicks, baby. I'm me. I don't have to do gimmicks. The rest of y'all stick to those gimmicks. I don't have to be like, I have to make comedy videos, or else I have to make dating videos, or else I make whatever the hell I want. And that's why you trigger trolls are mad. You need help, you need healing. Don't come to my channel trying to play with me. I'm promising you. Because it's a lot of that's here with no options. If you trolling me, you got no options. Please understand that. I don't care if you're a man, woman, machine. If you're trolling me, you got no options, because I'm here to help everybody. So if you can't take the help that I'm giving, you're that bitter. Sand is falling out of this young girl's hair. And I just couldn't believe it. She had such beautiful hair. And I spent 3 hours undoing this girl's hair and putting them into much better, bigger braids, right? And a cuter hairstyle. And I didn't even get a thank you from the little girl or the mom, because there's a very large sense of entitlement to Black women's labor. I even had my younger sister come over and braid her hair like on a scalp, like really cool, fun styles one day when my sister was visiting me. They did not pay my sister. And these are wealthy people. This woman was a millionaire. This woman was a millionaire. She was paying me $12 an hour. Okay? That was like a decade ago. To watch her children that she loves so much. And she would say things like, I paid a lot of money for them. She would say things like this in front of them. They don't care that kids on the playground are saying to their Black kids, like, you're adopted. They're saying this to them. Do you know how I will be on the playground? I wish you would try to make my child feel bad. Adopted or not. We can all get in the sandbox, baby. Let's get out. I'm going to be on the playground every day. Because if your parents can't teach you better, I will. Why don't your children understand that they're not to tell adopted children you're adopted? And the little girl would say to me, I would say, come on, we have to do this. Your mom works really hard to give you the best life. And that's why, because she, like so many kids I nannied for, they wanted their parents around, right? They didn't want me. They wanted their parents, and they didn't understand why their parents spent such little time with them. And I would explain to them, your parents work hard. And that's why they can't be here with you. So they can give you all these amazing things. And the little girl would say to me, that's not my real mom. And I was like, my God, are you kidding me? Why does she have to feel this way? Why can't she just feel like this is my mom and somebody loves me? Because everyone's reminding her that she's Black and she's adopted, even in the home that she lives in. That's abuse. That's abusive. Look, I've seen abusive behavior within these same families, right? So people will love to excuse abusive behavior when it's racist, but they can acknowledge it elsewise. If a family doesn't know how to treat their kids in general, they're not going to treat the foster kids good either. And the foster kids, the adopted and or foster kids, are the ones that have to pay the price, because it's not their family. It's strangers. And you have no idea what it's like to live with strangers. And if you're a stranger and you can't do that job, then don't do it. You don't do anyone a service by bringing a child into your home and you're hateful and you're miserable and you're resentful, or you're an alcoholic and or you're a predator and or you're an abuser. What are you doing? Why would you try to open your home? The system is broken. It is broken. So few good people out there. But you look on YouTube right now, you type in foster care, you won't find my videos here to reach out to former foster youth and kids that are in foster care now to let them know of their rights, to let them know they don't deserve to be abused. You won't find my videos. You'll find videos of people who are fostering and or adopting, talking about how great they are. Those are the videos. Those are the videos. And all these kids' stories go untold. Right, Melanie, right. And that's the point that I bring to it, is you got to look at the source. I take everything with a grain of salt, right? And what I'm saying is, I think it's very commendable that Angelica brought our attention to this, because something is happening here. But she says a lot of things that she cannot confirm and substantiate. And all she had to do was take pictures and or record the things that she was talking about for that to be something that could be substantiated. And she didn't do that. And that makes me question her. It also makes me question her that we know so much about her, right? Like, if I were to do this, yeah, I mean, you let people know, like, the police are following me, things are weird, but I'm wondering if she has a vigilante complex and or an attention-seeking complex and or an issue with the police themselves. Do you understand? Those are questions that I'm asking, just because I don't take things at face value. And if I heard it from the little girl, I would, because I believe victims. I believe victims. But because this is coming out of this woman's mouth, I'm asking a few questions. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we should ask ourselves these questions. But keep in mind, the children have to be protected no matter what. And I think it's great that Paris has shared these numbers that we can call and say, hey, what's going on with this little girl? What's going on? Because she looks hungry. She looks unhappy. You know, she's 14, and I don't know how long this family has had custody of her, right? But kids make fun of other kids for their parents being of different race, okay? I nannied a lot of kids. That's why I tell you guys stories. I nannied for a young girl. Her mother was gorgeous, but the girl was like 10 and her mother was 50, okay? And the other kids made fun of her for that. And the girl was beautiful. Her mother was beautiful. These were very attractive people. They were still being, and this is all white people, okay? This is all white people. The girl was white. Her mom was white. Her classmates were white. This was in New York City. The kids made fun of her because her mom was 50, okay? And she would come and tell me about how the kids are making fun of her because her mom is 50. Kids are brutal. I know, trust me. Like I said, I work with them. A kid will let you know quick, okay? I love to jump out of the shower and head to work. A kid will let you know quick. You ashy. I'm like, oh, God. Now I got to hear I'm ashy all class long because I didn't put some lotion on because I was running late. These kids will let you know, and it's, So you have to talk to your kids and fortify them so that these types of comments don't break them down. And I don't see parents doing that work. As someone who works with kids, who's worked with kids for decades, I don't see parents doing that work of fortifying their children, of speaking life into their children, of affirming their children, of their greatness, so that these little classroom taunts that will mean nothing when we graduate and are away from these people. And they don't mean anything when you're around them now, just to be honest. Because, a bully is raised by a bully. Always remember that. Bullies aren't created from good people. Absolutely. Absolutely. And as I told you guys before, when I was growing up, they let you know it. They let you know it. They was out here sounding like Meek Mill. Like, you only here for a check. I'm like, what the hell? You would tell a kid this? Meek Mill in the face ass savages. They just made it so clear when I was growing up in the system, The nerve. We know the truth. And that's period. And the truth will set you free. Can't nobody tell me nothing. I told you guys all the time before, when I was growing up, people would be like, oh my God, you're ugly, you're ugly. Now, for some reason, people know that you really look stupid saying that to me, just to be honest. So people will be like, you're fat, you're fat. I'm not, I'm an average size. I'm gonna be honest. I'm an average size. The average American woman is overweight. I'm amongst those women. She's not gonna hurt my feelings. Like, nobody says that to me in the real world. Nobody. Look, let me tell you something. I'm gonna be honest. The cat calls, the compliments, they never stopped. They've never stopped. All right? Since I was 14. I miss American Dream since I was 14. I miss American Dream. Okay? I'm just being honest. I don't hurt for attention. So that shit don't faze me neither. I know I'm overweight. I talk about it on the channel all the time. And right now, it is what it is. I'm healing in other ways. And my fitness and my weight loss is a part of that. And I'm on that journey too. And it feels good. Like, I'm gonna be honest. since I started running daily, trying to run 5 miles every morning, you know, I'm like, pretty soon I'm not going to be able to go outside anymore because I got a lot more confidence. And this is the thing. I gained weight, but I also gained confidence. So now as I'm losing weight again and the curves are starting to, you know, I back out. And I'm like, you know, hey, I'm going to have to let them know up front, back up. Okay? Because, yeah, it's just, yeah, I'm starting to look good again. I'm very happy about it. But I don't think it's something that can be so obviously seen right now for other people, but it's something that me and my husband are keenly aware of. Okay, and I'm very proud of myself. Listen, my husband, he's kind of like Will Smith when it comes to like he's very like particular about his body, and he wants to be ripped and he wants to be fit, right? My husband will work out for half an hour before I do, and then he'll go out and run with me for 5 miles. I got a good man. A mighty good man, baby. Okay? No man is perfect. And I've never pretended it. That's how people don't like me, because I've never pretended nothing on my channel. You can look at all my videos. I've been very honest about how hard interracial dating is. I've been very honest about how my relationship is not perfect, but I got a good man, baby. That's what I said about that Phelan situation. Y'all wasn't agreeing with me neither because y'all was mad because I was siding with Portia. Oh, well, go ahead and look back at that video. It is what it is. I sided with Portia and I sided with her today. Because one thing Portia does not do is fumble a bag. And we thought maybe she was fumbling the bag with Dennis, but as y'all can see, clearly not. Because Dennis, there's bigger bags, baby. There's bigger bags. Okay? And Phelan fumbled that bag. And I knew she fumbled that bag because a man like Simon is a collector. Okay? He's a collector. He collects beautiful women. They're not just going to easily divorce their still beautiful wife. That doesn't add up. To run around with her on another beautiful woman. Like, it don't add up. No, what made sense was that she was the one out in the streets. All right, anyways, all right, I'm getting off topic. Okay, that right there. Right, Martha Divine? Exactly, right? Like, she didn't even slip her a 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have at least slipped her a $20 bill. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. She could be a vigilante. She could hate the system. Again, she's telling y'all, right? I lost my kids to the system, and the system did this to me, and now they're coming after me, and they think they're going to get me. And I'm like, whoa. This quickly became about you and your struggle and what you're going through. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She's asking for a GoFundMe because she broke this story and they're coming after her. We've seen that before. All I'm saying is be aware and be cognizant of everything, right? I like how you think, Martha Divine. We think over here. We're going to look at all areas, all sides. Yeah. Interview all those children. You'll get the answer. Those kids will reveal it. Those parents are mistreating that girl. They'll reveal it. Absolutely, Martha Divine. I love your name as well, Khaleesi. Absolutely, Melinda. Absolutely. The number of Black children in foster care is disproportionate. And those are the most vulnerable kids. I just told you guys about things that happened to me. I've told you guys about things that happened to me when I was growing up in foster care. I just told you about the drunk woman that wanted to take me in, but she was like being abusive. And because I didn't have an advocate, because I was a Black girl in the foster care system, I was there. I was the fodder for these type of predators to abuse. And I always knew when I was going through it, I was like, y'all done fucked up fucking with me. Because I'm going to bring attention to this shit. I promise you. If you think this is the last time you've seen DanieSteel, you outside your raggedy ass mind. This is not the last time you'll see DanieSteel. Because I'm going to call this stuff out. And like I said, I've been doing it for a very long time. And so once again, shout out to Paris Milan for bringing attention to this subject. Paris is definitely one of my faves on here, again, because she cares and she brings awareness to these issues. So that's pretty much it. Let me just go over you guys' comments and then I'm going to head out. Hi, Fred DK. Welcome. Welcome. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Melanie. Geez, what? Yep, absolutely, Melinda. Absolutely. They did it to me. I watched so many kids. My whole life has been filled with kids. Like, I'm good. I'm good on the kids. You know? Because I've had to take care of kids my entire life. And children that are mentally or physically disabled also bring in a lot more money than an average child. And because of this, I've lived in foster homes where this was the case. They would take a bedridden child who needed care around the clock, and they would just have them in a side room by themselves, just in there by themselves all day, but for the nurse coming in and, working with them and helping them in that capacity. They were just always in the room by themselves. It's heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. Yeah, people really like to be like, I notice that on here, like with each other, they'll be like, your mom didn't love you, and I had a daddy, and all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, be humble. That's all I know. Be humble. Be humble, because that's a very bizarre mentality to have been blessed. That's why you don't see me on here. I support single mothers. I don't try to shame women who aren't married. I'm not on that. You don't have to be doing what I'm doing. Like, that's so bizarre. I don't feel the need to shame other people because I love myself. I agree, Melinda. Even if you have a child that doesn't look like you, I don't know. I just don't see how, for me, I just don't see how I could, make that any more than a single conversation. And perhaps when the child was ready, I really don't get it either. Because again, I want to adopt to help children. And if the child doesn't look like me and or my husband, which me and my husband don't look alike, so that's totally fine. You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't imagine telling them that they were adopted more than once. And especially if they didn't ask. I don't know. I mean, I would think it would be obvious, but it's a touchy subject, of course. Absolutely, Melinda. That's exactly what I experienced. Turning 18, graduating high school, and wondering where I was going to live and what I was going to do. And it's like, wow, I graduated high school. I did everything right. I was class president. I was in all the choirs. I did all the musicals and the plays. I got into college, but now I'm facing homelessness. You know, I avoided teen pregnancy. I didn't drink. I didn't do drugs. Nobody set that example for me, except for my great grandmother. No one set that example for me. I had to figure everything out on my own. And the system thanks you by making you homeless. It's sick. Very true. Exactly. We've seen that a lot on YouTube as well, right? Popular YouTubers sending their adopted children back because it got too hard. I was going to talk about this later, but let's talk about this Yandy Mendici situation. I've touched on it, but come on. They sent that little girl back when they told her she was a part of the family. Because like I told my husband, they don't want to adopt Black teen girls. All they want to do is vilify. All they want to do is adultify. These young girls, they don't get to have childhoods, right? Because they've got curves. So they don't get to have childhoods. Now we have to get straight to being jealous and envious of fucking children? And I see so many women. We go back to this predator situation that I talked about. The video is no longer available on my YouTube. If you're in the video, if you're in the live right now, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, please. The video that I did on predators is now only available on my Patreon. You can join for as low as $4 a month. So keep that in mind and consider it. I have a lot more valuable information on there. It just is what it is. I had to put things behind a paywall because information is too valuable for what I'm sharing to be constantly stolen by other content creators who don't even want to shout me out, shout my channel out, and give me credit for the things that they take from the topics and discussion points that they love to take from me. So they bring, so she was good enough to be a part of the family when Mendicis was in jail and you needed a storyline. But now your man back, and she gotta go. Wow! What a way to treat your child. This is your child, is it not? You told her that she was a part of your family. I was so disappointed with Yandy on that. I was so disappointed. I couldn't believe it. You out here fighting for prisoners, but you won't fight to let this little girl stay and be a part of your family when she's asking to be a part of the family? I think she's 18 now. People are like, oh, she's grown. She's grown. Yep. I see it all the time. All the time. So again, I don't know where this young Black girl at Costco, right? The adopted girl. I don't know when this family got custody of her. But I'll be honest, she doesn't look like she's been made to be a part of the family. And it's not because she's a different race. She does not look like she has been invited in to be a part of the family. She looked sad. She looked othered. She looked ostracized. These are the things that nobody follows up on, nobody cares about, because it's happening to young Black girls who don't come from families with money. I think it's sick how people think that they can just give back a child. And the damage that does to a child. So many people have told me that they have been damaged because of that. You know, I have my story of being in foster care was I basically just bounced around from home to home to home, different homes. There was never any idea that I would be adopted by any of these people. They were all very abusive, as I've said before, mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. Financially, because foster children are given a stipend for new clothes every year. Okay. And the majority of the foster parents that I lived with would take this money and spend it on themselves and their children and their grandchildren. And I would just be wearing hand-me-downs and old clothes, baggy clothes that didn't fit, just clothes from anywhere. Because that's what these sick foster mothers were doing. And for the ones that did it to me, I hope they're rotting in hell. I hope they're rotting in hell. Because a few are down there. I know that. You don't go nice places when you're not a nice person. That's why I walk in total confidence. I do the right things. I pay it forward. So I don't have to kiss anybody's ass. And I would encourage y'all not to do that either. Shit. Oh, thank you so much, Marcus. Thank you. Okay. I was watching the I Survived series here on YouTube. Okay. And if you're easily triggered by trauma, I would not recommend it. It is a very traumatizing series. I'm interested in situational awareness and stories of survival. And learning and understanding human behavior and why people do what they do. And so that's one of the reasons I watch it. And one of the things that I noticed was most of the stories involve men and women being brutalized, right, to the point of almost being killed. That's why they say I survived, right? Because they were literally almost killed in these series, right? You see men and women being attacked by men, predominantly men, right? I have not seen one other story. In fact, I've only seen one other story where a woman was doing it to another woman. I haven't seen any of a woman doing it to a man, attacking a man, right? This is a series, multiple stories, right? And a lot of stories about men getting into natural disasters or work-related accidents, okay? But everyone's fighting off, this toxic masculinity that leads to things like, murder, right? So on this series, a Black woman escapes two men. She was a teenage girl when it happened. Okay. She was 16 when it happened. And everyone's in the comments calling her strong. And I'm like, how was she, like, why is that the first word that comes to y'all head? I would call her a survivor. I would call her brave. But all y'all think to do is call Black women strong. Like, we already know that. Let's get to the other compliments. Okay? And they want to call you strong because they want you to be strong so that they don't have to be strong for you. The way other women have people being strong for them. No, Black women, you don't get that. Right? Exactly. So sad and sick. You know, my pets are, they're good, but they're a lot of work. I got 2 cats and a dog, and I would never give them away to anyone. I would never let anyone have them. They've all destroyed things at some point when they were younger, scratched the hell out of me, bit me. You know what I'm saying? I just could never see one of our cats. She's white and she sheds everywhere, so we're always covered in cat hair, looking a mess. You know what I'm saying? But like, what do? I brought this cat into my home and I told her this was her home. And she had already been given to me by a woman that I was working with, a waitress who was like, basically, when I was working as a waiter, this waitress was, she fell susceptible to the opioid epidemic that's still ravaging America, white America particularly. And this woman was, she felt susceptible to that as well. So she would come into work high on opioids. Anyway, she gave me this cat, and I was like, I told my husband, I was like, we have to take this cat from her because it scares me that she has this cat and she's not in her right mind, right? So we took the cat. The cat sheds. We're not going to get rid of the cat, okay? It's just period, and to do that to a child, and Yandy said something about, what about my peace of mind? What about it? Then why did you bring the girl into your house? I can't have peace. You're out there running into to cops, pepper spraying everybody, happy to get that caught on film. But you want to talk about, I don't deserve peace? You're not living a life where you're trying to have peace. What are you talking about? So you're telling me that the most stressful thing in your life, where you deliberately go to jails to interact with cops and get pepper sprayed and whatnot, you're telling me that this young girl dating someone you don't like, that's the worst thing in your life? Not your husband having been in jail for 4 years. Oh, she's... So why did you volunteer to do it? And it's just, oh, well, boop-de-doo, right? And she's got to pay the price because you wanted to look like a saint, because you wanted a storyline. Yandy. You should have thought about that before you told her that she could be a part of your family, period. Period. Now, if there's a problem, she's causing problems, you got to deal with it as a family, the way family would deal with it. There's no way you're going to tell me that you would send your children off to live with their grandmother or anybody else. Your children? No, you wouldn't. You're giving me troll vibes. I hate this hate. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I just sat here being quiet right now. Because I'm not the one. I promise you I'm not the one. It can be one person in here or zero. You're giving me troll vibes. You're giving me troll vibes. I hate a phony individual. I hate a hypocrite. I hate a bully. I hate a predator. I'm sensing insincere vibes from you. I hate this. Hate. I want y'all to pay attention to this. I'm on here talking about something very important and serious. And this person is over here trying to troll so that they can manipulate when I come onto YouTube and if I come onto YouTube, right? Look at this person. Look at this person. Look at this person. I want y'all to look at this. A bitter, miserable individual. Trash. Trash, whoever you are. And you'll never get whatever it is you're looking for in life. You'll always be bitter. You'll always be miserable. You'll always be trash. And I mean that shit from the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart. I think this is another one of these female content creator trolls that want to tell me to make my thumbnails better so I get more views. Bitch, my husband is a sole provider, ho. Do you understand that, bitch? Sole provider. All right? I don't come on YouTube like the rest of a lot of these phony assholes talking about I'm with a hypergamous man, I'm in a hypergamous relationship, but really they're the fucking breadwinners. But really they're the breadwinners and they need this coin. Didn't I tell you what? We do this shit for fun over here? This Sephora money. It don't pay one bill. You big and bad though, right? I hate this hate. You big and bad though, right? You could never roll up on me in real life. Whoever the hell you are. You could never. Never. And I'll be in the YouTube studios. Come through. Come through. Y'all don't want me to do exposés. Because I didn't make the mistakes a lot of y'all made. You don't want me to do exposés. And my family comes first. Family first. I would never sacrifice one person in my family. My dogs will get a snack before I come online. Fuck. Now you ain't got nothing to say? I hate this hate because you's a trolling ass nigga. You're a worthless troll. You are a worthless troll. So come on, you got to get to this party. You're out of here. That's a female content creator, y'all. Because she's weak, she didn't have shit to say. I'm not no manosphere. I'm not none of these little girls running around trying to get y'all attention. Ya, ya, ya. You see that, right? That was a female content creator, mad. Look, this shit has been years in the making. They've run so many black women off of YouTube. They've run so many black women off YouTube. That don't you dare talk about anything I'm doing on here when I put the shit out for consumption. Don't you dare talk about what I'm doing, making a fucking fool of yourself on social media, but can nobody talk about it unless when they talk about it, they say that you're doing a good job. I don't care about you either way. But you're not going to control shit that I talk about. Go control one of these clowns. Go control one of these minions. You don't control shit over here. But then they want to give cash apps to people who don't even like them. I'm not the enemy to fuck with. I'm not. Stupid ass bitch. Stupid ass bitch. In my fucking comments. Thinking that I wouldn't fucking catch that shit. See, they want to throw you off topic. They want to throw you off topic. Bitch, I don't do that trolling shit. I don't do that trolling shit. Run up. Run up. What the fuck is you doing, ho? Because if you the person that I think you are, I swear to God, it's only gonna get worse for you. God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly. Look at those stupid ass comments that they left. So obviously fake and phony. Where they do that at? Fake phony bitch with nothing but time. Y'all need to go take care of these kids. Don't nobody trolling me. Look, if you trolling me, you got several kids that you need to be taken care of. I have no doubt. You gotta take care of your kids. All right? Before you troll me, make sure your kids have breakfast. Okay? Imperative. That's on Paris Milan's channel. I'm not sure. I don't have that information with me, but definitely check out Paris Milan channel. She will have that information. Absolutely. They blame everything on the kids. There's no accountability. And they're telling people, well, these kids are, they're prone to this and they're prone to that because, they had such hard lives with their biological family. So then the foster or adoptive family can treat them any old kind of way because y'all are telling them, look, they've already been through hell, so you can do whatever the hell you want, right? And they should just be grateful. Instead of making these people actually show proof that they're doing the work to acclimate these children into their families. Exactly. Exactly. Like, oh, you had such a perfect life? Then why are you in the most miserable spaces on YouTube? Why? Why? Because that's all I see this stuff under. Is some of the more miserable spaces on here where it's nothing but misery 24/7. But then you'll have people on there being like, I had it good. I had it good. Then why are you in that space? It don't add up. Cat. Yeah, I am. I absolutely am, Martha Divine. And I never take that for granted. And the reality of that breaks my heart. The reality of that breaks my heart. Because I really was hoping that maybe I just had a bizarre, weird, off experience where people were out to get me and they were being mean to me, right? But the reality is the whole system is broken. And so many of the kids go through these exact same things. And that reality broke my heart. But it also incited me to make change, right? I'm not just going to be like, well, I made it out, So many people do that. I will never do that. I made it out. But it's people on here telling y'all that they're wealthy, but the only reason they're wealthy is because y'all give them cash apps, because you watch all their videos, because they've indoctrinated you to follow them, like brainwashed. And y'all money is what makes them look wealthy. Like I said, I don't need to do that. My husband's a breadwinner. So we good. I'm not here to look. I already been to the Amalfi Coast. I've been to Hawaii. I've been around the world. Yeah. Okay. Been to Eastern Europe. I don't have the subscribers and views. I've already been to those places. So you can rest assured, I'm not on here to try to get a vacation. If we want to go on vacation, if we want to go down to Miami for the week, we'll go. You can check that video out on my channel as well. Black Women in Luxury. That's not a problem here. That's not a problem here. If we want to be on a yacht, we'll get a yacht. And that is not going to be dependent on a cash app. But it's people whose lives are dependent on that are bizarrely trolling my channel. Better stop fucking playing with me. Because I don't want to. These people will sacrifice the people closest to them without hesitation for attention. And I think it's sick. I'm not Michelle Obama. If you go low, I will see you in hell from heaven above. Okay? Shit. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, you guys have the resources. You just don't want her around. So she can't make a mistake. Foster kids and adoptive kids are taught you can't make the mistakes that kids can make. You don't have a soft place to land. Right? That's traumatic. That's traumatic. Look, even when I was working as a nanny, I was like, y'all are teaching these kids that they are better than the black people that work for you. And that's garbage. What are you doing? And I don't care if you're explicitly saying it or not, because people think because they're not explicitly saying something that they can get away with it, right? So I'm sorry, I cannot get over that troll. This bitch woke up early in the morning to troll me instead of feeding her kids. That's incredible. Incredible. Like, so why you keep moving so sloppily? If you care about your kids, like, stop moving like a clown. Stop moving so sloppily. Don't be at my channel playing yourself. I've collected information for years. I want y'all to understand that. I have collected information for years. I'm not a bitch to fuck with. No, I'm not. I'm not, baby. I'm not. Because if you want to go to there, I'll go to there. I've been to worse. I've been to worse. So we can go to there. But I got you. And for all the other black women that this troll has done this to, I see you. You can fool the masses, but baby, you will never fool me. You will never fool me. Because everything y'all talk about getting, I got. I'm gonna put it that way. I got it. So you're not my competition. I don't know how to make that more clear to you. You are not my competition. You will never be. So give it up. Exactly, Melanie. Wow. Wow. And see, this is what I'm talking about, that hatred of Black women and Black girls. What Black girls have to deal with growing up. You know, I couldn't believe when I got married and people were like, oh, you're not with a Black man? You're not with a Black man? I'm like, a Black man didn't ask me to marry him. What you want me to do? And if he did, he would have had to compete with my husband, right? Because that's what this is all about, baby. This is a competition for the best and the brightest, fuck. What are you talking about? These dudes went around telling me, you know, I wasn't good enough. And I didn't give a fuck about it. But the bottom line is, why y'all lying? Why are y'all lying? So that y'all can play a victim forever. If you notice one thing about me, I'm not trying to play a victim. I'll tell you about things I've experienced. I'm not trying to play a victim. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm a survivor. Okay? But there are a lot of people on here who try to play a victim 24/7. They're a victim. People are after them. It's always someone else's fault. That's counterproductive. But these men, these dusties that would say stuff like that about this little girl, they're like this troll here. They want to play a victim 24/7. That's why the troll and the dusties belong together. All right. I'm moments away from revealing you, troll. Whether I'm right or not, it don't faze me. But I'm patient. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you know, they could have really helped this young lady. And instead, it looks like they just used her for a storyline. You know, and it seems like she was crying and pleading with them. And that didn't matter. Oh my gosh. You guys, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I thank you for sharing your story, Undefined Artist, because I believe in speaking our truth, we're helping others. So I thank you for sharing that. And again, I'm so sorry that that happened to you. So many people have gone through that. This is what I'm talking about. There's got to be more accountability. The top videos about foster care and adoption on YouTube should not be by, you know, people with a savior complex glorifying themselves. It should be the stories to let people know how they can do better. The stories of the kids who have lived through it, the former foster youth, the former adopted youth. Yep. I lived with majority Black families, and they were trying to make me clean after them 24/7. So I have no doubt that they're making this girl do all the cleaning and treating her subpar. I have no doubt. And unfortunately for these people, they have to deal with that because they took a child that they claim was sick outside and didn't give her food. So now people have to draw conclusions to do what's best for the child. So they allowed that narrative to get out there. They could have let her stay home with another parent that cared about her and or given her food. That was too hard for them to do. So they don't get, you know, a pat on the wrist. They don't. They can get the flick of the wrist. Okay? That's what they can get. Yep. I had foster moms, they would come in Like I said, it's like a lot of these content creators that are using y'all. They sitting up here, they flossing, they flexing, right? They getting attention, they dating. Is your life improving? Is your bank account improving? Are your dating options improving? But they want to flex in front of you. And this is your leader? I don't pretend to be people's leader. That's a difference. I'm here to inspire and encourage, enlighten, elevate, and uplift. But they would do that to me when I was growing up, right? They would come back with takeout because these lazy foster workers hate to clean. They hate to cook. Laziest women, the ones that I lived with, the majority of them. I only had one that was good, and I've told you guys that multiple times in my videos about this. The majority of them were very, very lazy women. That's why they made sure they did everything they could so that it looked like they had a home available to foster kids so they could get a lot of money for doing nothing, including not buying groceries. We never had fresh groceries. Everything was, Aldi's. I mean, no shade if you shop at Aldi's now. No shade. I know people still shop at Aldi's. They're like, I like the prices. That's great. I'm more of a Whole Foods girl myself, But and the food that I buy, it's expensive. We didn't have those options growing up. We didn't have healthy food options. But then they want to blame Black women for not being the most fit women in America. And it's like, well, what are you giving Black women to help them be fit? Food deserts, and the food that's available to them is overprocessed, artificial, not fresh, genetically modified. Pumped full of hormones. That's the food they're getting. And they want to blame y'all for that. They want to blame Black women for that. I guess y'all should have been building because they want you to build everything too. Because they're like, you don't build, we build. So I guess you got to build everything. After you get done building, put your apron on, do all the cooking, do all the cleaning, do all the raising of the kids. Mm. 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 I mean, I just hope and pray it's not that case for her sake, Exactly, absolutely. My husband does just everything when we're out and about. My husband does everything. One time I went out to the grocery store by myself, and I was like, I'll just get a few things because it's like I don't even like to push the cart. Like it's so heavy, Like my husband does all of that, and because he insists, right? And I went to the grocery store and I got some eggs and a couple of other things. And I go outside, the bag that the eggs are in flies out of my hand and they crash and they all break. And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like when my husband isn't there half the time, because my husband is just so insistent that he takes care of things for me because he sees me as a woman that deserves to be protected, right? And I don't want to be around men that don't see me as a woman that deserves to be protected. I really don't. Look, I've done the heavy lifting. I've already done that. So if you want to reminisce on when I did heavy lifting, go ahead, jump in a time machine. Jump in a time machine and go ahead and look back. Okay? Because basically before I got married, I did a lot of heavy lifting and things on my own and I had a problem with that. I don't have a problem with working hard, but why do I have to work hard if a man is there? Okay. I want to work smart, not hard. And if this is teamwork, well, because it's got to be teamwork, then act like it. Because are you a team member or are you the coach? If you're the coach and you're getting paid more and you're getting more credit for the work, then why should I do the equal work? Right? If you're running this. So this is something that men haven't really been able to answer for themselves, right? They know that they feel like women get everything, and life is easier for women. This is how men feel about women, and they're like, you don't deserve to ask for anything because we should be working as a team. Well, if we're working as a team, then you need to listen to me. Then we're equal, and you're not the head, right? Teammates are equal. Are we teammates, or is this a hierarchy? Are you in control, or do you need help? I feel like men haven't really been able to answer that for themselves in a lot of the discourse I've seen online. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's very sad because, I tiptoed around the issues for years. I really did. And I was like, it's not doing anybody a service. Y'all are it got worse and worse. And I'm like, somebody's got to be on here to tell the truth. Somebody's got to tell the damn truth. And I'll do it. I'm not looking to be made a superstar YouTuber from it. I'm not. So to come here and think you will compete with me, you will never compete with me. Never. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. They're withholding the stories of children who've come through these experiences, and they're pushing forward all of the people with savior complexes who are talking about how great they are for fostering and or adopting. When that should be done on a low. Can you imagine being someone's adopted child or foster child, and they're online being like, I'm so great. I'm so great. Oh my God, it was such a hard day for me. They do this. Look at the videos. They're like online being like, oh my God, it was another hard day for me. I'm like, wow, there's a child in your custody that has just come from another tumultuous experience that really needs love and attention right now. And just like these triggered trolls here that don't want me to get my content out because they don't want competition, you don't want to help this child. You just want attention. That's a lot of what I'm getting from it. Period. Because when and if I adopt, I'm not going to be on here talking about somehow how hard the whole experience was for me. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If you can't handle it, don't do it. But they're the ones with the money, so they get it first. And all the good people like y'all in my comment section who have said, hey, I want to help these kids too. You don't have the resources that these people have to spend on doing this. Not that you don't have your own money, but again, I'm talking about these YouTubers who are well known for adopting and fostering. They have income that allows them to see if they want to adopt a kid or not, right? And they're the ones that the people will give the kids to, instead of good people that are like, hey, I don't have a bunch of money to waste and time to waste, but I want to help these kids. And also, I do believe when we talk about prioritizing, again, because of the shortage of children in America, I do believe that are, and the lower birth rates that are happening throughout America, I do believe that they are prioritizing giving babies and the youngest children to white people first. And that includes if they're Black. That's what I'm seeing. That includes if they're Black. That includes if they're a POC. What's interesting is I've noticed a lot of Black people on YouTube who are popular for fostering and or adopting have adopted white children. That's interesting. I believe all kids deserve to be adopted and taken care of. But why isn't there being more work done to make sure that these are proper placements where the child can thrive, not just as a baby but as a teenager, right? Why isn't there constant assessment being done? I can see in these videos that a lot of these Black adoptive parents have with their white children, that they love their children, and I even follow out there. There's one white guy, he's like a musician, and he has an adopted Black son. I follow him on Instagram. All right. I think his name is Jonas Chartok. Anyways, I follow him on Instagram because I'm like, oh, what? He's a dad. I'm like, oh my God, a dad, right? So cute, and he loves his son, and it's so obvious. But when it's not obvious, we can't let that go, because parents are supposed to love their kids. And when you're a kid in foster care or adopted, they just let you get away with not loving the kid. And that is BS. I know a lot of kids deal with toxic parents and parents that didn't show them the love that they were supposed to have and stuff, that aren't in foster care, right? That aren't adopted. And that's just something that happens with people. But again, we got to make sure that people who are not qualified to even raise their own children are not out here trying to take other people's children in, because they're just not qualified, whether they have the space or not. We have to find better options for these kids. We can't just put them in homes because there's space to put them there. And that is a lot of time the only real requirement. I see a lot of these Black foster mothers, for example, they'll take a child that needs around the clock care because they don't have to do it. They'll have a nurse do it. They'll take a child with special needs and put them in a room and leave them there by themselves 24 hours a day. Nobody's holding them accountable for doing that. But if you're a Black woman that is looking for a baby to bring into your family to call your own, you're not going to be able to get that, because they're going to give precedent to the white families when it comes to that. And a good person, when they think of what it would take to take care of a child with a lot of special needs, they say, you know what? I don't think that I can give that child the attention that they deserve. But these worthless foster mothers out here to collect a check, they'll take those children in and make it look like they're good people. No, they're just out to collect a check. They're not doing anything with those children to make sure that they get to see the sun, get to be outside, get to be around other people, get to live a normal life. And the child can't advocate for themselves. And that's it, the end. Yeah, I feel you, Melanie Sunshine. Let me tell you something. I got over that. It did take a while, though. It really wasn't until a few years into our marriage that my husband was like, you don't have to do everything. Like, you don't have to make dinner when you're super tired. I can make it, and of course he can't make it the way I make it, right? He knows that. But he can make up a little something based off the years of us being together and him seeing us together. If I've been out working all day, or I'm super tired from whatever, or I'm physically hurt, or if I'm sick, right? And then sometimes, he likes to make burgers, he likes to do a lot of grilling, right? So we do that together. He grills and I make the rest of the meal, right? But yeah, it's those little things. It really is. When we're grocery shopping, the way that he will hold the basket or push the cart so that I don't have to, because he's like, you're a woman, you're a dainty woman and you shouldn't be doing these things. My husband thinks that I'm a dainty lady. That it just is what it is. So, he doesn't want me to be doing things that take physical labor when he's a man. He works out every day. He's very strong. He's very fit, and he can do it. And people don't want you to live in that world. I remember I was around an estranged family member and her boyfriend, and there was a spider. And I asked, and mind you, they were in my home. Okay, so I asked this man who's in my home if he could kill the spider. And the estranged family member was like, "Do it yourself. Why you gotta do it for you?" You know, and if you talk to a lot of these dudes, they're very upset that you're asking them to kill a spider. They're very upset by this. They're like, "Why do you think that I gotta put myself in danger? It's like nobody cares about my life as a man." Like, what are you talking about, bruh? Are you gonna kill the spider or not? Kill the spider or get out my house. I will not ask a man twice. And I don't care if it's a hurricane. I don't care what's going on outside. Kill the spider or get out. But because my estranged family member was protecting this guy, he didn't even get a chance to comment. And he didn't kill it either. And this black male identified, black worshiping woman yelled and screamed at me to the point of almost violence because she was mad that I had asked her boyfriend to kill a spider when I was allowing him to be in my home. So a lot of women aren't ready to sit back and receive, right? We're talking resting in our femininity. That's something that my husband insists that I do. He insists upon. And so I'm able to do that whenever I'm with my husband. And that's why I don't like being around a lot of other people, to be honest, because a lot of other people will be like, "Hi, strong black woman," like I'm some superhero. No, that's not my name. 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 Okay? My name is not strong black woman. My name is beautiful black woman that has a CashApp you can hit up, has some bags you can carry, see some doors you can open, and is waiting for you to build stuff. That's my name. Don't forget the baby, okay? Please say the baby. Please say the baby, okay? That's my name. You gotta say all of it. Strong black woman. Huh? You must be looking for your mama. You must be looking for your mama. You know? And there's a new dawn of strong. All right? And we're going to start calling them what they are. And that's strong preferences. This woman, estranged family member, also happened to be a preference. It's time for the preferences to be strong. All right? So the preferences, they're very strong. And ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We're just going to talk about how strong these women are. Holding them down. Holding them down. Right? They making sure they man ain't going to be killing no spiders. No. Right? They're going to let their men rest in their femininity. And that's what makes them strong. They're willing to put up with a bunch of BS. They're very strong, these preferences. Exoticals, thoticals, worshipers, M&Ms. You guys know what M&Ms are. Tammys and tools, right? That's what the preferences are now. You know, you even see Becky nowadays. Becky would just straight up go hard for him, right? Like, my man. And how can you compete with that? I'm not going to give you that. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't building nothing. Where the army at? Where the army at? But you want to ask me where the sandwich at? Where the army? Where is your military? So I'm not making a sandwich for somebody that can't provide me with the military and political power to make sure I'm not being disenfranchised in my own country. I'm not making a sandwich for that. So if Becky will, then you better enjoy that bologna, that fried bologna sandwich that you're going to be getting. And, you know, these mammies of theirs that want them to be taken care of and glorified so much, why you think that they allowed the Beckys to come in and, you know, sit at the throne, essentially? Because that's what they do. They allow them to come in and sit at the throne, right? That's why you got Becky talking about how good the food is at the cookout. You get to the cookout half an hour late. Ain't no more food left. It's a little bit of fucking potato salad, no more meat. Half an hour late and all the food gone. But Blackistan Becky, she know what all the dishes taste like. How, Sway? How? I tell you how. Because they also glorify Blackistan Becky. They do. I'm not glorifying nobody above myself, so it's just not gonna happen. And again, this is something that these guys do because they have to give these women something. They're leaving their, you know, established patriarchy to come over here and play games and eat all the food. You gotta give them something. Besides some good baked mac and cheese that's seasoned for the first time in their life, you gotta give them something. And what they want to give them once again is you, Black woman. They want to give them you. You. They want to say, look, come over here. It's something that I like to toy with over here. We have a good time at this at these women expense. We can't have a good time no place else. Nobody else ain't gonna let us around them acting a fool. Right? But you'll let Blackistan Becky come to the barbecue, come to the cookout, eat all the food. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very few people have good intentions when it comes to this stuff. And it's so sad, but that's the reality. Yeah. You know, I think Paris Milan talked about the picture of the young Black boy holding on to the cop for dear life. And didn't his adoptive white mother's, wasn't that boy found dead? That makes me so angry. We got to do more for these kids. We got to do more for these kids. And that's why I said, you know, I got some questions for Angelica and how Angelica did things. But in general, I commend people for not turning a blind eye when they see a child in pain. Because a child should not be in pain. You want to be 28 years old and sitting in your car on the side of the road sobbing. Somebody might drive past and see that and keep it moving. That's understandable. A child shouldn't be in pain. You don't keep it moving when you see a child in pain. You know? And from my own experience of growing up as a kid who dealt with abuse and neglect, right? There were a lot of times where I was hoping somebody would see how much pain I was in. And they never did. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep looking out for these kids. Let's keep looking out for these kids. Yep. So yeah, so that's that on this one, guys. I'm gonna stay invested in this story and keep an eye out for this family and what's going on with this young girl. I encourage everyone else to do the same. I encourage everyone else to, you know, just always remember to put the kids first. Put the kids first. It's not hard. It's not hard, y'all. You know, I live in a gated community, so all the kids that live in here are fairly privileged. But, you know, we had a couple of white kids and some POC kids were selling lemonade at a lemonade stand, you know. And of course, I went over and gave them some money and gave them a tip, right? To show them, like, to encourage them to keep doing the right things, right? All kids matter. All kids matter to me. What's kids being taken advantage of, it's no joke. And we have to be particularly mindful of the disproportionate number of Black children in foster care and that are put up for adoption, and the vulnerability that leaves them in. I think that we're doing that with this case. So thank you guys so much for joining me this morning, and I will see you guys in the next one.